out of the way. So, if I can make this work. Do you see it? 1 second.
See.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 3 problems that I did choose were evaluating new techniques for seeking, hiring, and retaining automotive technicians. So, I need to add like the class and the professor and everything on this. But my dad's business is a shop for cars, and he also sells cars, but he's mostly has problems finding like technicians that can work on all these different cars for like a used car company that like stay, because he only has 3 technicians at a time. So he wants to figure out the best way to find them, hire them, like the hiring process, and then keep them working for him. So that was what I'm working on. This is our head tech, Ryan. He's adorable. So my overview is I start with the executive summary, the introduction, and then I broke it down into the opportunities and then the current situation for the opportunities, like hiring, seeking, and retaining, and then the problems with each, like the cons or risks.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you be able to put your presentation on full screen?
Yeah.
I know, because it's small font. I'll figure out the... Okay, wait. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, perfect.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, so Taggart Cars is a small car business in Cary, North Carolina. There's 3 employees as of right now, and then 2 of them are mechanics. And my dad's the owner. So his issue is that right now, I guess I can move on. So the whole presentation, I'm going to be talking about where you can find good technicians, how to properly interview potential employees, and then how to keep them once they're working for you. Because he has a high turnover rate, and he wants to know why. So, seeking technicians, right now he uses Indeed.com, and then personal referrals. Sorry, the TV just turned on. Personal referrals from the head tech, Ryan, who like knows people that he graduated school with or used to work with before he started working for Taggart. So what I found out is that only 5% of people, job seekers nowadays, are interested in being like hands-on technicians, because most people want to work with like computers instead of like turn a wrench and all of that. So that's the first main issue. The turnover rate, and I still need to figure out how to fix this graph, but in 2015 it was lower, and it's getting higher and higher the better technology gets. I'm going to put more information on this slide, but okay, so the opportunities, after searching through some things, I figured out 3 potential opportunities that you could change, which is partnering with local trade schools to find technicians that are just graduating from like mechanic school.
What location is he in, if you don't mind me asking?
In North Carolina.
Okay.
So like Raleigh area.
Okay.
So there's like UTI? University
Universal Technical.
Yeah. So if he worked with that, then outsourcing HR, so you can hire companies to help you, like you can hire people to go and find you technicians and bring them back, which is kind of costly, and that's why he doesn't really do that. And then you can also go on databases like Match.com, but for mechanics, and find mechanics that would really work well with his business, because it is so innovative and it's a small startup. Use those sites to find them, which he hasn't done, because Indeed.com is more broad, and he gets a lot of people sending in resumes that wouldn't be a good fit, and he has to go through all of those, and then he finally hires one, and then they end up not being a good fit.
I think like maybe the trade schools would probably be like a great opportunity if they partnered with that.
Which is what I thought until I looked at the costs and risks. And partnering with a trade school is difficult, because when people go into like being a mechanic, they have to choose a certain type of car that they want to work on. And then they have like Nissan coming in and being like, hey, we'll pay you a ton of money in our huge corporation right when you graduate. And so they're already partnered. So since he's such a small business, it would be hard to find technicians like not paying as much as like Nissan or Toyota or, you know, whatever.
Wow.
And convincing these kids to work there. But the cool thing, what he has in his favor, is that they're constantly making like I don't know if you guys have heard of like rally fighters or redoing like Jeeps and Scouts to be like, you know, selling a Jeep for, like that was 50 grand for like 150 grand just because it's all like done up and cool. So there's like the job is always changing. So that's kind of what he has in his favor to convince people to work for him. But and then the outsourcing HR, which I talked to him about, I was like, have you thought of this? And he goes, I looked into it, but it's really expensive. But if you're paying monthly, which is how much like you'd be paying like $75 a month, if he got matched with a great technician that ended up working for him for like 5 years, then it's worth the $75. But if he didn't, then he just wasted $75 on nothing. So that's one of the risks. So then the hiring process is the copious amounts of applications that he receives from unfit people. His hiring process, he's funny. It's super casual. So I was like, how do you hire people? He goes, oh, well, you know, they give us their application, they come in, we kind of talk to them, you know, we see if we like them, get along with them, then we take them, show them around the shop, and then they're hired. And if they quit or we fire them, there's really no exit interview that takes place. So that was kind of a clear vision why some people may just kind of slip through the interview process and start working for him, and then he's all like confused as to why they're not the best workers. And it's like, well, you didn't really test them to see like how well they work or like what, you know, detailed information and everything. So I found this really cool article online that was the difference between hiring a person and recruiting a person, and from that I got this little quote: where hiring happens when you need to fill a role, recruiting is the process of attracting top talent to your organization. Yeah, which
I like that.
It is a small business that, you know, prides itself on innovation and like different projects, and every day at work is a different challenge. So what I would tell Taggart is to try to make it into a recruiting process instead of a hiring process, where there's an online application where you say where your skill set is, you know, you meet minimum standards, and then you go into an interview process that kind of goes into like a conversation about what your personal vision is and if it meets what Taggart vision is, and, you know, more serious stuff.
I would suggest, like, I don't know if this, I'm just throwing this out, like, because it's so specific, as like such a close like bucket where he could pick from, was like maybe sending a video interview, like just like them sending with an actual application, send a video of them explaining who they are. By that video, like that 3-minute video, tell me about yourself, he can completely know immediately if this person's gonna work out or not, or even.
That's true, and especially because if someone takes the time to make a 3-minute video and send it in, they actually care.
Yep.
Right.
That's a really good point. I'm gonna add that.
And that's gonna be cheaper for him at the end because it's not gonna cost him anything. Yeah.
He can be sipping on his wine, watching.
But like, this guy's weird. Nope. You know.
Seriously. So, and then the last problem. So for this one, if you look, I have costs and risks for the hiring thing, and then I need to figure out what the costs and risks of the recruiting process compared to
Does your dad do a background check on them?
No, which is what I was reading other places all do.
Yeah, that cost about, well, at least at Ehrlich, it costs about $1,000 to hire someone on after everything's said and done, because they now have a 401k and a benefit package, even though it's a small business. But you can see you just ask him, like, how much is it to do the process? I mean, what other, you know, it costs him to screen the person? That could be a cost to him. He should do a background check, just saying. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, for real. My dad, he's too lax. Anyway, what are the other risks? Can you guys think of any that would be for the recruiting process? Like, I don't know, is it risky to, like...
It's time consuming. There could be time allotted.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And if you know, a potential employee was to submit a video, that would also save a lot of time than having someone come in and going through that process and then not even hiring them after that would be a big waste of time.
So it takes about, say, on average, you can make a value like that seems reasonable. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a response of a post. So that's 2 or 3 weeks you don't have that person filling that position. You can put in accountability of how much money he's losing not having that person for those 2 to 3 weeks. Then waiting for them to do an appointment to come in, processing that, and then half the time they're not ready to work. They're in between jobs, or they have to give their 2 weeks notice from their other job. So now we're looking at 6 weeks without wages, without revenue. That's all money.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can do that.
I'm writing this down. Okay, cool.
Time is money, honey.
Yeah, for real. Okay, and then the last problem that he has is just retaining the technicians once he does hire them. He always says it's a startup business, you know, you're not going to be making the top dollars, but it's the, you know, experience of doing it, and you have a lot more freedom when you work in the shop. Like, you're always working on new projects, you always have a voice if there's only 3 techs, you know, throwing out new ideas. And the current technicians that work there are really outgoing, like, genius people, and they know that they could be making more money if they had a 9-to-5 job at another, you know, big corporation, but they love working there because they're just always using their brain. Like, it's an exciting job for them. So the people that end up leaving, it's usually because they just want a job that makes money. They just want fast money. And also with technicians, which I was just learning about all this just from this project, is they use a flat rate system, which 73% of dealerships and shops use it, which is, if like an oil change costs this amount of money and that's what you make, and if you get 50 oil changes in the week, then you can make that much money compared to someone that's just working a few jobs and sometimes your money's low. Do you guys know about flat rate system?
It's kind of like almost like commission.
It's like there's this big book. Well, it used to be a book, now it's online. But if you go in it's all a flat rate. Every different shop, it's all the same rate because it's in a database, and it's like if you need a new timing belt, it's $237, and that's the flat rate for like putting a new alternator. And so shops have always worked that way since like the 50s with cars. I'm not sure why. I think it was just because people would come in and how much work you could get. Like, the bosses would just pay them how many jobs they could physically get. But nowadays cars, you know, have more computers in them, and there's a lot of computer systems and stuff, so it's harder to just say an oil change is this much, because some cars,
it takes longer to get the oil out because it's a different system. Yeah.
Cars, and like, it's just, the times are changing. So I found out that they're starting to change to a hybrid plan where you work 32 hours, or you get paid hourly for 32 hours every single week, and then every extra job you're working after that, you get the flat rate. So this allows for technicians in like the modern day to be able to still make like a livable wage compared to before. But this is just now starting to switch. So Taggart Cars still works on the flat rate system with their 3 technicians, and it's their job to, like, they kind of take on an extra job to have to post on social media, like, hey, come in and get your oil changed and everything. And with like Corona going on, these people that are getting paid flat rate, nobody's getting their cars worked on right now, so they're not making any money. So it kind of like, when there's slow weeks or slow times during the year, they're kind of screwed. So what I'm proposing is that my dad switches over to a hybrid plan. And if you look at this chart, the dark blue is the amount of money that people are making weekly, which is higher in every single week, even if it's just by a little bit compared to flat rate, where it's like 1 week they're making $760, and the next week there's not a lot of work, so they're making just over $500, and then the next week, and see, it just jumps drastically. And
yeah,
you know, workers get really upset. My mom's trying to FaceTime.
I'm busy, Mom.
I know, excuse me, Mother. So if they get the hybrid plan, then they're able to, they're happier because they just know that they're getting a paycheck and they don't have to worry about money, especially with like this big innovative thing. They're more like, I feel safe and comfortable staying in this small business even if I'm not making as much money, because if I were to move over to Nissan and make more money, I'd still be on a flat rate system, in which case I don't know how much my paychecks are going to be weekly. So the opportunity, I just explained that. Sorry, I should have gone to this page. But example, base pay for 32 hours weekly. This allows my dad to have kind of a form of trust in between him and his employers or employees, so that they know that they're getting pay from him, and they have that relationship where they don't have to worry about him just screwing them over and not having work for them. So the cost.
That's really good. Now I understand that now. It took a little bit, but I don't know why. That's literally exactly the same system that my family's business uses.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, hey, we have work this day. We have work, Monday through Wednesday, but nothing on Thursday, and only one job that's going to take 3 hours on Friday.
Yeah.
So then they're only getting paid hourly for what they can, but then, if we're short a job during the week, well, just to keep our employees, we have to hire them to do some like petty stuff, like clean up around the storage unit, where we keep all our stuff, or either come to our property and help out with some, just to, keep it going.
Seriously. And that's what's cool about the hybrid plan, which it was created recently by the Ganley Automotive Group, and they decided that they were like, okay, we'll do 32 hours weekly because it's not full time, but still pay them hourly for that, and then still give them incentive to work harder and faster by whatever they book after that, they switch over to flat rate. So if you think you're getting paid $32 an hour, if you work really hard and get more than 32 hours in, then you're getting flat rate, and you're like, oh, well, I'm really good at changing alternators, and that's $230 extra, so I'm going to get through my work. It's kind of a motivation for them to work even faster. So it's kind of a win-win. The costs of that the risk of that is that the technicians don't take it as, oh, well, if I get all my work done, then I can make even more money if I work 40 plus hours, and they just end up working slower because they know they're getting paid hourly.
But what your dad can do is cut them if there's nobody coming in.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why this is why constant review is vital, to keep checking up on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have weekly meetings, like, hey guys, what are our numbers looking like? Like, what's our profit, revenue? Like, why is this week slower than the last? Why are you making more money? Why were you, just to continuously review and tweak the hybrid plan. And then make sure flat rate doesn't cut corners. And it may cost him more money to pay them hourly, but it'll keep the employees engaged and trusting of him to continue to work, because they know they'll be taken care of with a paycheck every week at 32 hours. And then my references, I just put like the different sites that I got all of that information from. But yeah,
that's good.
That was very good.
I like it. If you want more like data stuff, you can kind of like compare and contrast of the cost of retaining, like how much would it be and how much money he could lose not having the employee versus keeping him on the 32 hybrid.
Ooh, true, yeah.
So that can be, number wise.
I'm writing this down. Perfect.
You definitely covered, graphs and charts, images like that she required on the sheet. And like I was telling Rose, maybe if you want to just add a little bit more, just background art or something, colors, anything like that. Because when I read the rubric, she really emphasized that is like she wants it to be, decorated and look good, stuff like that. Honestly, that was a very good job, and I like how you just focused on that one issue.
Yeah. it made it so much easier because I was trying to go in all different directions, and I was like, dude, just head
Right.
down towards the mountain in one problem.
Right.
Yeah.